Hey y'all, I am preparing for the fall garden mentally and figured I'd come take a walk out here and see what's what and just show you guys what the garden is looking like this time of year before it's time to switch things up. All right, so here is the garden currently. It's August 10th. We've been working on getting the grass cut and just really not allowing it to take over at this point. Some of the rows of fruit trees, even though they were mulched, the Bermuda grass is just completely overgrown the mulch. So I'm thinking that as far as that's concerned, I'm going to come through with a woven weed fabric and cover those rows in the winter time when the grass is not an issue. I'm not sure if I've shown you guys the pumpkins yet, but got some pumpkins going in a lot of my raised beds. Strawberries have finished fruiting now. These are some of the last pumpkins that I planted. So while they're big, they're on the smaller side compared to the others. This no dig bed right here, the zinnias have done really well. These are almost as tall as I am. And I'm cutting from these, trying to leave some because hummingbirds come by. As you can see, the butterflies, moths like them. And really, I don't even have enough rooms to put all of these flowers right now. So I'll usually put some like on our kitchen table. Occasionally I'll take some upstairs, but I end up leaving the vase too long and that could be a yucky situation. So I usually just try to stick to downstairs instead of taking the flowers up to the loft. Got a couple watermelons in here. I think this might be Dixie Queen, maybe, or Crimson Sweet. And behind that is a Charleston Gray. So watermelons, this is the first year I've been successful with watermelons. So that was exciting. Charleston Gray was our best so far. All right, this was a bed that had tomatoes growing in it. I've since pulled those. You can see our kale from last fall and winter is still going. Kale is a cool season crop, but this survived the summer. I've just been really feeding it to the birds and the rabbit before we lost the rabbit. But we'll come in here and sow some more things. I actually did stick a tomato right there in true fashion. It's not labeled, so I'll see what that is as it comes along. Got some chives in the back that have been doing really well. Some peppers. I didn't get, or I haven't gotten as many peppers as I anticipated getting. I'm wondering if these will sort of take off now that the tomatoes are out, but we'll see. It's getting a little late for peppers, so I definitely won't be starting another round. Here's another bed with cayenne peppers, and I've been pulling from this regularly. Let's see. So I've been saving these and drying them for crushed red pepper flakes, or if I make some fire cider, I'll just toss these in there. And we've got more fruit on the plants. So enough to do what we need to do. banana plants are getting some size to them. Hoping they'll last a little while, but banana plants typically aren't frost hardy. Alrighty, got some more pumpkins going here. These plants tend to sort of ramble and vine and take over, which is fine if you have the space for that. It does make grass cutting fairly difficult. So this one I haven't pulled any pumpkins off of these plants. Let's see, I think there's at least 4 or 5 in that container. And so I didn't want to mess with these vines. I'm really hoping to get a fair amount of pumpkins. And I'm hoping for at least one the boys can carve. And these are our jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. So got one there. The vine borers and the squash bugs have been really getting at these plants. So really high pest pressure that we have to compete with. These could probably use some fertilizer. They're yellowing a bit, and they're heavy feeders, so they need that extra organic matter. Let's see. Kevin's garden. So we've harvested 2 rounds of edamame off of the soy plants. The lima beans here on the end are still flowering, and these we're just gonna let dry. So let's see if we can get down in here. We've got some pods. There's nothing in this one. We've got some pods beginning to dry. Oh, here's a good one. And what we'll do, let me put my pepper in my pocket. What we'll do is we'll come in, we'll collect these dried beans, and we can save these for eating. So it looks like something might have gotten to this one, but this is just like your lima bean that you'd find at the store. So we'll dry these and we can eat these. We haven't come through to pick any of those yet, but now that I know we've got some drying out, I'll let Kevin know. So our beans did well, and everything else pretty much did not, which is really telling for the soil that we had brought in, and the fact that we didn't add any fertilizer to this. There's also wood chips underneath that soil, which kind of take away the nitrogen. Beans tend to be nitrogen fixers, and so these other plants needed more than what this soil had to offer. We have some milkweed coming up, but I mean, these little things right here are sunflowers. And if you've watched any of our garden walkthroughs before, you know how well the sunflowers typically do, but they need a little bit more out of the soil. So corn didn't produce, flowers didn't produce, pretty much just the beans did really well in this area. So we will harvest the beans, we'll harvest the edamame, and then we'll come through and plant something else in the wintertime, or excuse me, the fall, before it gets frosty and really chilly. All right, I came through this bed right here. This is where I attempted to grow sweet corn and didn't have a whole lot of success with the corn. I just added some more sunflowers. I think this is the White Knight cutting sunflower. And we should have some reds and deep burgundy sunflowers blooming here soon. This is our other no-dig in-ground bed. And I am pulling okra from here now. Let me set this tea down. So these plants aren't very tall, but I get a handful of okra pretty much every day, every other day. I'm pickling this. What else? Pickling it, frying it. And I haven't done like okra and rice yet, but that's something else that I enjoy. Don't want to let these get too big. This is fine for these. It's not too woody at this point, but anything past this size is usually pretty woody. I think the general rule of thumb they say is to pick when it's about the size of your pinky. So I'm missing that mark today. But come in here, twist these off. Got some okra, already canned some tomatoes. That's half a meal right there. These flowers are always beautiful. Similar to hibiscus. And if you happen to miss one of your okra pods, let it go to seed. Dry out completely on the stem, then you've got okra seeds for next year. Got a couple more melons coming in here. Canary melon, it's just not done yet, so that'll turn completely yellow. We've had really good success with those this year. So I'm definitely seed saving for my canary melons. Let's see, behind me, my loofahs are at the top of their trellis, and my asparagus that I started in this bed, that's what you see right here. And I will just basically let this go for a couple years. It'll be 2 or 3 years before we're able to pick from this, but once it's established, we should have asparagus for many years to come. So that's looking good. These loofahs I plan to use in soap making, and got some eucalyptus growing here. This is lemon bush eucalyptus. So it kind of smells like citronella. Kevin and the boys call it bug spray. It smells like bug spray. Archer calls it the bug spray plant. But I was thinking of using this to infuse for a bug repellent oil, and I've been cutting some and putting it into bouquets also. So I've got 3 of those right here that seem to be doing well. These are tender perennial, so we will see how they hold up to the frost. And then down here in between, we've got our thyme, which I have been using. I've been using a lot of this in a pickled egg recipe lately. It calls for thyme and jalapenos, and it's been one of my favorite pickled egg recipes so far. Aside from that, I use it to top pizzas, or if we do an herb and garlic pasta, I'll put some thyme on there. Okay, so here is a look at how the Bermuda grass has taken over these rows of fruit. It's thick, it's completely covered the mulch. Again, these things, some of these things are established. They've been here for at least a year now, but some of them are new. Like we just put in some new blueberry bushes that we found a good deal on. We added, let's see what else is down here. I think there were some lavenders. We got a little melon. These bricks that you see are for our frost fabric come winter, to protect our citrus and things like that. So yeah, I mean, if you're wondering what it's like to battle Bermuda grass, it's definitely a battle. It's not a one and done situation when you put down your cardboard and your heavy mulch. I think that's something that has to be tended to seasonally. So we will be addressing that. Let's see, we've got some little figs, but they don't have much size to them yet. So we'll see if those get any larger. And there's three figs on this side of the garden. These banana plants have really taken off. I love the tropical look of them. I'm thinking about just putting some more of these throughout the garden randomly for some shade. Yeah, I'm really sad they're gonna die back in the winter. I love the look of these. We've got some blue butterfly pea growing along this trellis. And these flowers can be used as a natural dye or colorant for teas or breads, cakes, anything like that. So that's why I'm growing these. I thought it'd be fun to dye something with the boys. Not sure what yet. I'm sure we'll figure it out though. I haven't really been in here to pick these like I should. Oh, look at that butterfly. Yes, Sully. We've been having some of this. It's almost like blossom end rot on some of the melons. Our lilies have finished up. The basil has gone to seed, so I'll let some of that dry. This right here looks pretty dry. And then I'll come in and I'll do some seed saving from that. Show you guys this bed of watermelon here. So these plants are looking a whole lot better than they looked a couple weeks ago. I added some fertilizer to them, and that's something I was trying to be a bit better about this season, was just making sure that I fed everything. It's easy to kind of think you can set it and forget it, but that's definitely not the case. As with most things, you gotta put something in to get something out. So fertilizing has been something I've been trying to focus on. Got a couple more watermelons on the vine. I am hoping I'm hoping to eat these, but melons can be tricky. I already told myself, you know, the bigger ones that I showed you earlier, I definitely won't pick those until like the end of September. Hopefully these little melons have enough time to mature before the first frost hits. Boys are over here. Oh, yep, the sun has come over, having a picnic. We were in a shady spot, but Archer's just noticing how the sun has come over the top of the trees and our shade is disappearing quickly. So I think that's about it for this walk through the garden. I didn't show you all of the beds. Some of them are a bit repetitive, but I think one thing worth noting is the productiveness that we got out of these two in-ground beds right here, this one and the bed with the zinnias over there, versus, you know, what we were able to pull out of this little patch right here. Those beds were amended with a layer of bedding and manure, and so I think that helped to set these things on the right path. The boxes in the back, these pumpkins are always a bit droopy during the heat of the day, but these beds back here also had the topsoil that we used for our in-ground beds in the front, and there was a lot of stunting in these beds as well. So I've just been coming through, and when we had the rabbit, I dumped some rabbit manure on here, come through with some chicken manure, some of the sheep bedding. These sunflowers were stunted. See, there's a little watermelon. That's probably black diamond watermelon. But really just adding to these beds with this topsoil so that we can get enough nutrients in them to actually grow something. I've been feeding this bed right here really heavily, and this is the one that's got the glass gem corn in it. So we'll see if we get a couple ears off of that. But yeah, I think that's worth noting that that soil definitely needed a little bit of input. Here's some more pepper plants that we've got going. These are habanero peppers. We haven't pulled from any of these yet. This is one Kevin got me, and these here on the end are some that I started from seed. So we should be getting some peppers here soon. Got to show y'all these butterflies on the zinnias. They don't scare them away. Alrighty, you guys, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. The next time we're in the garden, it's going to be time to sow for fall and winter, and we will share probably some of the things we're growing, the start of that process with you all, and we will see you soon. Bye.